Welcome to video number 6, dividing rational numbers. We're going to start with some review like we did in multiplying. So the first thing we're going to do is fractions, 12 divided by 2/3. Remember this, that when we do dividing or multiplying with fractions, we have to change to improper. So this 12 is going to become 12 over 1. Remember that putting a 1 underneath doesn't change anything. Okay, so 12 over 1. Let's bring down our divided by 2/3. And now I want you to think about the song that many of you learned in 6th grade. Remember, it started with write the first fraction, change the sign, which means that the division becomes multiplication, flip-flop, which is really talking about the reciprocal, so we flip the numerator and denominator, and multiply. So write the first fraction, change the sign, flip-flop, and multiply. 12 times 3 is 36. And 1 times 2 is 2. Okay, one more time. Write the first fraction, change the sign, flip-flop, and multiply. And don't forget to simplify. So 36 divided by 2 is equal to 18. Okay, let's come over here to our decimals. Some students like to take care of the decimal at the beginning, some wait till the end. But either way, you've got to take care of it sometime. So let's think about moving our decimal over one place here. And if I do it in my divisor, I have to do it in my dividend. Okay, so there's my decimal. Let's go ahead and bring it up so I know it's in the right place. Okay, now I can think about it as 2 into 125, which is a whole lot easier. 2 into 12 goes in 6 times. None left over, but I still have this 5 I've got to bring down. 2 into 5 goes in 2 times. So 2 times 2 is 4. And I've got a remainder of 1. Most of the time, we need to keep dividing until we get a terminating decimal, which means we've got to keep adding zeros until that happens. So let's add a 0 and bring it down. That makes that 10. So 2 into 10 goes in 5 times with none left over. Okay, so my final answer is 62.5. We talked a little bit about fact families and the inverse operations and how it works. So remember that addition and subtraction are inverse operations. Same thing, multiplication and division. So fact families, you can see we've got 2 examples here. What happens with fact families is that you have 3 numbers that are related, and you can see that we rearrange them in different operations. So here's an example. 6 times 2 is 12, and 2 times 6 is 12. Remember, there's a certain property that tells me that I can change the order. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And 12 divided by 6 is 2. You may also see them in this form with the fraction bar. Notice that I've used the same 3 numbers, 6, 2, and 12. The only thing that's changed is the operation and the order of the numbers. Let's look at another example, a little bit tougher with a negative. So negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Next fact, 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Notice I changed the order there. Come over here to the division side. Negative 20 divided by negative 5 is 4. And you may also see it written this way. And negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5. Notice I've got the same 3 numbers in all 4 of my facts. Negative 5, 4, and negative 20. The operation has changed, and the order has changed. Keep that in mind as we go to some practice. You're going to need to write a fact family. So my first practice problem for you is going to be to create a fact family for negative 2 times 6 is Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. So think about what is going to come next. Keep in mind these will be checked during your warm-ups tomorrow. So problem number 1 is to think about what the fact family would look like for this fact. If you need to go back to the previous slide to check out the fact families again, that's fine. I've also got 3 problems I want you to try. You're trying to figure out what goes in this question marks place. But remember that the fact families are going to be helpful for this, so don't forget about them. So think about 8 times what equals negative 48, what times negative 9 equals 108, and 6 times negative 13 equals what? If you need to pause it here and write down the problems, please do so. We've also got a concept to talk about with dividing integers on a number line. In green here, I've got 2 steps I need you to think about as we start talking about dividing rational numbers and specifically with negatives. Our first number is going to be our destination. So we're going to use a little person here to help us. Our person is always going to be facing the destination where they want to go, starting off at 0, of course. So if the first number is our destination, that means that's going to be our 18 in this problem. So 18 is our destination. So our person's going to be facing that 18. They're trying to get way over here to the 18. Divided by negative 6. It says second number is the size of the steps and whether you walk forward or backward. So that means our size steps are going to be 6. They're going to take steps of 6 units each. And this negative tells me whether to walk forwards or backwards, so that negative tells me that my person is going to be walking backwards. So 18 divided by negative 6, let's take some steps of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to draw it as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've made it to the 12. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now I've made it to my destination, which was the 18. Let's take a look at getting our final answer. Again, remember that I've got steps of 6, and I took 3 steps of 6. Look at my person. He's facing the negative direction. So my final answer for 18 divided by negative 6 is negative 3. Two more problems we're going to look at. Look at these 2 different problems, but how they're related. Negative 18 divided by 3 and negative 18 divided by negative 6. These 2 are in a fact family. You're going to see by the answers we get why that's true. Remember, the first number is our destination. We're always going to be facing our destination. So start off at 0, facing the negative 18. That's where we're trying to get to. Remember, this second number tells me the size of the steps and whether I walk forward or backward. Remember, this is a positive 3. So that tells me I'm going to be walking forward. So start off at 0. Our steps are going to be in 3s. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. So we've made it to our destination of negative 18, walking forwards, positive, in steps of 3. So let's take a look at our final answer. I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps of 3, and notice where my person is facing as well. My person is facing in the negative direction. So my final answer is negative 6. Okay, one more scenario. We're going to use blue for this one so you can see the difference. Again, remember that the first number is the destination, so I'm going to be facing the negative 18. So start off here, facing the negative 18. Remember, the second number tells you the size of the steps and whether you walk forwards or backwards. So I've got a negative here. which remember means I'm going to be walking backwards. So my person is going to walk backwards, again going towards the negative 18. So this time steps of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we've made it to our destination. Let's take a look at what happened. I took 3 steps. And let's take a look at where I'm facing too. I'm facing the positives. So my answer for negative 18 divided by negative 6 is a positive 3. Remember to go back and relook at things if you still need help.